Hello and welcome to the Baron's Game Room. I'm Aaron as always. Let's do this. Today I'm continuing to talk about my Monopoly spin-off games, with the next one up being the Monopoly Empire card game. Now, I know I've mentioned this several times, but this is the full video about it, so I might as well mention it again. This is a game that I have a fun little fact about, in that I don't believe, as far as I can tell, that this was ever fully, officially, released. Now, that's not me saying that I have some, super rare, game that someone, snuck out of a factory somewhere they weren't supposed to. No. It's just that when you look at the box, it was very clearly supposed to be its own, single retail release, but somewhere along the way they decided to can that and not do it. And instead, they just put it inside a small amount of copies of the regular Monopoly Empires game. So, some that you buy just included the Monopoly Empires card game. When you look at the box, it's very much got a lot of the normal stuff, like age count and player counts and all that. It's got a spot where it was supposed to have a UPC, but they ended up, closing that out. I think the main point that tells me that it was supposed to be sold on its own is, one, the fact that it has a hanger, which we would need inside of the box, but also the fact that it comes with this extra Monopoly piece, this cruise ship, which I assume would, at some point it's supposed to be an extra reason to buy this. Hey, if you buy this game, you get an extra piece for your Monopoly Empire game. But since it just came in the Monopoly Empire game, it just meant, hey, here's a card game and another piece for the game you just bought. So with all that said, you're probably going to have a little bit of a hard time finding this game if you wanted to play it yourself. You can find some online, but they're usually $30, $40 plus, since it's kind of a rare thing to find. So in all honesty, heads up for the end of the video, I wouldn't super recommend that. If you happen to be familiar with a game called Pit, that's all this is. So really, in all honesty, if this game sounds fun to you, just go buy Pit. It's the same game, and you'll get it for way cheaper. And I assume that's probably why they ended up not releasing it. They probably, in the end, decided it probably wasn't different enough. In this game, you've got a bunch of different color properties, just like the Monopoly game, and each one pertains to a certain brand with different value amounts on them. And then you have this Go to Jail and Empire card. All you do for this game is however many players you have, you're going to pick that many colors. It doesn't say any rules on which ones to pick, just pick the full set of however many you want. So in a 5-player game, let's say we take these 5 here, and then you'll end up shuffling those all together with these 2, and dealing that deck out to one at a time to every player until you run out of cards, and now you're ready to play the game. Now, 2 players will have 1 extra card than everyone else because of these 2 cards, so don't worry about that. Just know that 2 players are going to have extra cards. No big deal. Once you've dealt out your cards to everyone, you'll probably want to take a sec to organize your hand up a little bit. Everyone should have 9 to 10 cards. And once everyone's ready, you're going to sort of do a 1, 2, 3, go, and then this is a real-time trading game. So once you say go, everyone's going to be doing these next things at the exact same time. Since the goal of the game is to collect a full matching set of 9 of the same color, what you're going to do is you're going to find cards in your hand you don't want. Say I don't want these 2 pink ones over here. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start yelling out 2, who wants to trade 2? Until you find another player at the table that also wants to trade 2. Don't say the color, only ever say the number of cards you want to trade. Once you find someone that wants to trade, bam, you and that player each trade your 2 cards. Pop them back in your hand, look at what you have now, decide if you want to change what you're going for or not, and just find some more cards you want to get rid of. How about this yellow here and this brown? I'll trade these 2 off. 2 again. Who wants to trade 2? 2? You? Bam. 2 more cards for me. Hey, look. I just gave a yellow. Now I got yellows back. Ah, crap. And that's the whole game until scoring. You just keep trading cards around the table until someone gets a full set of 9 matching cards. And once you have 9 matching cards, you just go, bam, I got it. I think they tell you Empire or something like that. And then you win that round. Now, like I kind of pointed out earlier, at the bottom of each card, you have these little number values. What that's supposed to mean is if you collect a full set of that color, then that's how many points you get. So if you collected a full set of reds, you get 75k points. With the usual end goal being either you play a certain number of rounds and whoever has the highest score wins, or you pick a set number to play to and whoever first reaches that amount wins. But we can't forget those 2 extra cards that we showed earlier as well, because those will affect your final scoring as well. Let's start with the bad one, the Go to Jail, because it's the easiest one to explain. Basically, if you get stuck with this one in your hand at the end of the round, you just lose 20k. That's the whole thing. You have it, Lose some points. Should have got rid of it. Then we'll talk about the Empire card. This one's got a little more to it. The first thing this one can do is it can act as a wild. So you can treat this as any color you want. So if you get, say, 8 oranges in your hand and an Empire, that would equal 9. Boom. You've got your set. Whoops. But also, you'll see these things at the bottom. So if at the end of the round, you did not complete a full set and you had this in your hand, then you lose 20 for having it but not getting a full set. And this part right here, if you manage to collect the full 9 cards and this one, then you'll actually double your score. So if I actually did get all 9 oranges and got this one in my hand as well, then I'd actually get 65k times 2. Now, some of you might have noticed something a little weird when I was telling you about the trading. You might have some questions and all that, especially if you're familiar with Pit, then you might have some questions about what you're allowed to trade. And here's why I say that the rulebook's not clear. The rulebook doesn't actually give any rules about trading other than it says you have to say the exact number of cards you're trading. Whether you're trading 1, 2, 4, 5, whatever. However many cards you want to trade off, you just say, I want to trade this many. You find someone else willing to trade it, and then you trade them. But if you look at all of the pictures they show in the little rule pamphlet, as well as when they talk about the go to jail card, it seems to imply that you're supposed to do it like Pit, and in Pit you have to trade the same goods or the same colors essentially. So like it doesn't say in the game that you have to trade the same colors. So in my examples earlier, I traded off a yellow and a blue, and it doesn't say I can't do that, but it does kind of imply it by pictures a little bit that you're technically only supposed to trade off matching sets. So I need to find, I don't want these 2 reds, I can trade off these 2 reds to somebody. Not, I can trade off these 2 reds and a yellow. I don't think it really matters, it's kind of your preference on how you want to go about it, but again, the rules are not actually clear on that. But anyway, that's the full game. It's very simple. It's literally just everyone shouting chaotically around the table what cards they want to trade and swapping them real fast, picking them up, looking, yelling out another number. That's it. That's the whole game. It's just be the first to collect that set, get your points. Again, it says to go a few rounds or go first for so many points or whatever. Doesn't really matter. Usually when we play, we just ignore the whole point system and we just play, oh, I won this round, and we just play another round. But yeah, that's one of my opinions on it. Let's get into that. As far as accessibility goes, the game is insanely easy because of how it plays that. But I will say, like I think I mentioned in my last video, it's so chaotically fast-paced that it might be a little hard for younger kids to play along, just because it's kind of hard for them to maybe look at the cards, figure out what they want, and like strategize the plan of which cards to get rid of quickly enough. You know, they might spend a lot of time looking at their cards, figuring out the game, while everyone else is just 3, 3, 3, who wants 3? Otherwise, for adults, you can't be more casual friendly. Any adult can play this game. Any adult really should kind of play this game, as long as you like those fast, loud, chaotic games, because that's exactly what this is. It's just everyone shouting and yelling at each other, cards flying all over the place. I personally have a lot of fun with it. Funny enough, I'd actually never heard of or played Pit before when I ended up stumbling across this game. So to me, this was very unique. I thought it was great, but as soon as I started talking to other people about it, everyone was like, oh, it's Pit. And I looked it up and I'm like, oh, yeah, it's literally just Pit. Okay, cool. I had a ton of fun with this game, and since I didn't think it was in print anymore and didn't know about Pit, it inspired me just to make my own game. Basically, I did away with the whole having to trade both the same color, which again, it's not clear about, but it kind of implies. I didn't like that, so you can trade anything you want. And in my game, mostly I made it where the values are actually different for each player instead of stagnant like this one, as well as I put in a lot of extra cards other than just those 2 special cards that really shakes up the scoring thing. But we're not talking about my game, we're talking about this game. It's a ton of fun, it's super accessible to everybody, but it is super expensive to get online for a silly little quick card game like this. Seriously, don't pay $45 for this game. Do I approve Monopoly Empires? The Baron says no, but something like Pit? Definitely, absolutely, Baron approve. Just get you some other real-time trading game. Have fun, guys.